Lionel Messi's reaction to failure is what makes him so great. In this review, I'm going to discuss that idea and many more in Andy West's fantastic book, Lionel Messi and the Art of Living. Let's get into it. So the book features interviews with sportsmen from all different sports, discussing what we can learn from Messi's successes and perhaps even more importantly, his failures. Now, you might think that a 4-time Champions League winner and an 8-time Ballon d'Or winner wouldn't be that familiar with the concept of failure, but you could be mistaken. West argues in the book, released in 2018, that Messi has had so many disappointments in his career. He was sent off in his international debut, he's lost 3 Copa America finals, and he also went full seasons at Barcelona without winning a trophy. Furthermore, his early years in the Barcelona first team were just decimated by injury. For example, in 2006, when Barcelona won the Champions League, Messi wasn't even in the squad and couldn't bring himself to celebrate with the rest of the team. So West argues that although Messi's talent is basically unprecedented, failure is just inevitable because factors like dumb luck, fate and circumstance just play such a huge role in football where the margins are so small. Now, this reminded me a lot of when the Stoics claimed that we can't bend reality with our own will. And Marcus Aurelius actually said that we should be like the rock that the waves crash over. What this means is that we shouldn't let external events, i.e. failure in perhaps football, business, family life, whatever it might be, stop us from trying to succeed. That said, we may as well just emulate Messi, dust ourselves off and try again. So West claims that Messi has been able to bounce back simply because he just loves playing football so much. It's been that way when he was a child playing on the streets of Rosario in Argentina. He played with a smile on his face, and that's always been the case. And that state of flow which Messi manages to enter is perhaps why he's become so legendary in the game. This flow state occurs when the difficulty of a task and the enjoyment of a task meet in the middle at a perfect counterpoint. So with this, a task is challenging, but it's really an enjoyable challenge, so much so to the point where time just seeps into oblivion. This, my friends, is where we enter the flow state. This idea was popularised in the 1990s with Mihai Csikszentmihalyi's book, handily titled Flow. As we know, Messi is such a creative player, lauded for his impish chips, mazy dribbles and laser rule passes. And it's also interesting that many musicians, artists and stand-up comics also speak about entering the flow state. I love this idea of discussing Messi, flow and his cognitive abilities because this isn't something which I really see written that much about, but West really focuses on it, so you have to tip your hat to him for that. So what can we learn from Messi getting in the flow state? Well, for all of us, we need to make our work exciting and ensure that it's also challenging enough to keep us engaged. So when searching for the flow state, it might be a good idea to perhaps learn a new skill which you would find fulfilling, or perhaps you could even try and enter a new industry which you know would make you feel good. And the idea that Messi loves what he does means that he's been able to solve problems so well throughout his career. And you could argue that the likes of Ronaldinho perhaps weren't as inclined to crack those puzzles, solve problems, and find a sense of flow through football. Sure, Ronaldinho loved playing, but maybe he wasn't as inclined to seek out challenges like Messi was. That's perhaps why Ronaldinho was sold from Barcelona to AC Milan in 2008, soon after Messi emerged. One particular problem Messi has solved is learning to shoot and score with his weaker right foot. This solves him the problem of having to really improvise when defenders show him onto his unfavoured side. Interestingly enough, West links this in with Daniel Kahneman's theory that we as humans have 2 forms of thinking. We have System 1, which is fast, intuitive thinking, and System 2, which is slower, more deliberate thinking. Messi practiced so much at solving the problem of his weaker right foot. West states that he was able to use faster System 1 thinking with limited time and space to score with his less favoured right foot. Again, I think this kind of analysis is so fresh and you have to credit West for that. Another way in which the flow state has helped Messi is the Argentines' real willingness to adapt to change. So for example, in 2008 to 2009, manager Pep Guardiola moved Messi from the right wing to a false nine position. Here he could drop deep, link up with that midfield fulcrum of Xavi and Iniesta, and really express himself and have much more of a free role. He dealt with that change with a growth mindset and scored 23 goals in 31 La Liga appearances that season. Compare that to 10 goals from 28 appearances the previous season when he was still playing on the right wing. That indicates that if you lean into change in a positive manner in business, sport, politics, whatever it might be, you can reap the rewards and enjoy new experiences. Speaking of which, many years before he moved to the false nine position, Messi had one of the biggest changes a child can have when he and his family moved from Rosario to Barcelona when Lionel Messi was only 13 years old. When you think about change, it's just interesting because I remember people would sometimes say that Cristiano Ronaldo was greater than Messi because he'd won trophies at a greater number of clubs. And I'm just not too sure that that argument really holds up, because when you really look deeply at Messi's career, he's played in different positions at Barcelona and he's also played under 7 managers. So for him to have that kind of success in a club which was at times going through a real state of flux, it's just so impressive. And all in all, I think this is the kind of book which the football industry just really needs. So although there's been quite a lot of books which look at sport in line with psychology, such as Bounce by Matthew Syed and The Chimp Paradox by Dr. C. Peters, I haven't really seen this approach taken to football, which I just think is a really, really fun and fresh approach from Andy West. And throughout the book, West describes some of Messi's goals over the course of a whole page, and it just never becomes boring either. He always keeps the copy just quite playful, and he's got just such a great eye for nuance and detail as well. Other topics in the book include Messi's struggles with the Argentina national team, the dynamic relationship between Messi, Neymar and Luis Suarez, and there's also a really interesting passage from Pablo Zabaleta, who played with Messi in the Argentina team, and he said that it was always such a relief when he saw that Messi was starting. And this was just really enlightening to me, because I've never really been able to imagine a footballer almost having a sense of anxiety over whether a player would start. So I think that was worth mentioning as well. And West spoke to such a broad range of sportsmen about Messi, which was just really cool to see. So he interviewed the likes of the Olympic swimming gold medalist Adrian Morehouse and the 2 times EuroLeague basketball winner Nando De Colo. And interviewing these sportsmen who we perhaps might not know too much about, again, it just felt like a really sort of playful way to cover Messi's career, and it was really creative, which I definitely really appreciated. So it's wonderful to hear that people from outside of football also have so much respect and admiration for Lionel Messi. In fact, I think the then Argentina manager Jorge Sampaoli put it best when he said, "This is Messi's team." Thanks so much for watching, and see you again soon.